We are back. This is the Fearless Studio at the 2024 Fearless Summit. And guess who I have with me? It's Pastor Berto of Mavuno HillCity, Mavuno Young and Fearless.
Yes.
So you're all about youth.
Yes.
You're all about Gen Z.
Yeah. That's where the Lord laid his passions in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, as a country, and everybody who's watching this at this particular moment knows what we've been through and how we've seen Gen Z in ways that we possibly haven't seen them before. We've seen them as this galvanizing generation of folks who are unapologetic to speak their mind, to lend their voice, to speak up against injustice. Did we miss this? How did we miss this?
Even I'm confused as to how, I'm confused as well as to why people are shocked that this is Gen Z.
Yeah.
When we were in the pandemic, we saw the Black Lives Matter movement all around the world, and it was the same age group who were just rallying people around the same cause and going, and they saw their counterparts. The youth in Kenya saw their counterparts able to achieve something. So I don't know why it's a shock that then they would take the exact same posture in fighting injustice.
Yeah.
And also they have they have numbers and they have technology, something that maybe before wasn't a factor here. Now, so that makes them more unified and they're able to speak in one collective voice. I guess that's why it was louder.
Yeah.
But they've always been...
this has been them.
Yeah.
We just haven't been paying attention.
Exactly.
Basically.
That's the thing. Basically.
So, Pastor Berto, you're a zillennial. So you're not a Gen Z. You're a millennial technically, but in many ways you resonate with Gen Zs and you're close to age with the Gen Zs, right? As a church,
I'm laughing in my head because I know the kids I pastor will probably be like,
yeah, they're like, no, you're not one of us.
Yeah.
But as a church, I feel like there's a moment, and I feel like history will look at us either favorably or otherwise if we don't seize the day,
Right.
and seize the moment.
Right.
But how do we seize the moment as a church with young, vibrant, agile Gen Zs, steering them optimally to where we know they should be and they can go?
A good word, optimally. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
We're leaving this generation, these young people have so much energy and they're willing to die for the things they believe in.
Wow.
They're willing to die, but we need to give them reason to live, right?
Wow.
We need to find ways, because my biggest frustration as a youth minister is that the church stays reacting to culture instead of influencing culture. So like this, what happened with the injustice thing, we're waiting to react to it. We're like, oh my gosh, look at how well they've done it. We're like, we support you, we do this. But imagine what the church could have achieved if it was on the front line of fighting this injustice, showing people this is how you demonstrate peacefully. I feel like that would have been so relevant for the church. If I was thinking, I was like, I should have said, give me the worship team. Let's go outside Parliament. Let's stand outside Parliament and sing worship and call on the Holy Spirit to come and intervene for us, because you guys are not listening to us. Let God fight for us. I feel like we could have influenced that moment. Now, what is seen that works is we go, we vandalize stuff. You guys will only listen to us when we show up and we stop the whole country, the whole economy comes to a standstill. This is the only way you guys pay attention. But I feel like the church needs to position itself to start influencing culture as opposed to reacting to it. And we're seeing it with AI as well. Where a lot of Christian people are saying, oh, stop using ChatGPT. We're very skeptical. I don't know if it's an evangelical thing. We're very skeptical. We're like, oh, no, that could be the mark of the beast or whatever. So my pushback even to my lecturers, I'm always saying, how about someone teaches us how to ethically use AI for academic writing?
Yeah.
How to because if you tell them to not use it, they're constantly using it. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
So we need to get to a place as a church. We need to figure out how do we influence the spaces that these young people are in, so that we stop playing catch up.
Yeah. So away from response, away from trying to figure out how to navigate with Gen Z, I'm just curious to know your experience, because I pastored in a youth church like for a Sunday, and I was tired because they feel very removed and very different. Do you have any tips for youth pastors in that space, how we can speak to them in ways that mean something to them and not ways that we're used to speak to us?
Right.
How do we speak to the current generation in the church context?
I know it's very frowned upon by older people, but the only thing we can do is listen. Like when you listen to where a person is at, you're able to gauge, okay, how do I introduce the gospel to this person? I'm able to know where this person is at. Because even people who say they're Christians, people are in completely different walks, different stages in their walks with the Lord. So when you listen to them, you're able to then, like I said, modify the message so that you're able to reach that specific individual. I think we need to get off the mentality of reaching masses at one time. Like, because Christians are obsessed with giving the correct answer so that you impact everyone at one go. But I think it just takes one at a time, influencing them one at a time. Because even for me, whenever we have small groups, we have them in like ages. Where they're 16 to 18, and then 16 and below, and then 20 to 25. When you sit with each group, and how they've heard the same message, how they're interpreting the exact same message is so different. I remember one time I had such a distressing conversation, I think it was in February when we were doing the Between the Sheets series. The conversation between the 16 to 18-year-olds really stressed me out. I wrote like the longest email to Pastor James, and I said, we need to change how we're doing ministry because it's not working. We're speaking, but we're speaking to people who view life completely differently. Their worldview is so far removed from us, like you said. So I think just one at a time, relationship, and a lot of dependence on the Lord. Yeah. I don't think we're at a place where we have answers to anything. It's like people are saying, it's unprecedented. A lot of Western influence has come to us in our households. Yeah. There's an old Arab proverb that says, men look more like their times than they do their fathers. So the context right now looks this way. We haven't lived in that context. We haven't lived in the Western context. If the West are struggling to find answers to reach the Gen Zs, I feel like the Lord is telling us the reason this is so big is so that you go back to the place of dependence. So any youth leader would be like, let's go back to the feet of the cross and just be like, Lord, authority, give us authority, because otherwise we won't live it.
So to any Gen Z, any millennial, to any Gen X youth leader, one, listen to them, but then two, pray.
Pray.
Just ask God.
Yeah.
Like, these are your children.
Yeah.
Tell
what
us.
You want me to
show us.
Yeah, exactly.
Before I let you go, we are currently at the Fearless Summit 15th edition. And this is the end of day one. I don't know how it's been like for you. Have you had something that has just stirred your soul? Have you had something that has been curious enough to your mind?
I think it's from a biased perspective, the youth session, because I'm just so passionate about the youth.
You are.
That was my favorite one. And Pastor Bonnie said, the youth are not looking to be entertained. They're actually hungry for truth. And for me, that one was really convicted me. And I was like, but that's true. Like, we need to.
And how often do we entertain them?
Yeah, I think we sit them to warm the pews because we're like, let's keep them busy, let's keep them away from trouble, away from drugs, alcohol, and everything. Yeah. And then we'll teach them the real gospel when they get to adults' church. So I think it reminded me, like, no, truth needs to be said, to be administered now, no matter how hard it is. So.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Pastor Berto, for joining us here at the Fearless Studio at the Fearless Summit 2024.